Welcome back to Bohemia, which in modern times is known as the Czech Republic after it got un-Slovakia'd. And, where were we?
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but I've urgent tidings.
Oh yeah. The urgent tidings were that the stud farm in Neuhof had been raided,
He says brigands raided the stud farm this morning.
and Hanish's vassal Smill was now dead.
Who did this?
But during the conversation, Henry hears that a man in black armour, who was most likely the one that stole the sword, was also involved, and of course he immediately volunteers himself.
He's full of piss and vinegar, isn't he?
Which apparently was a good idea because I'm given a free horse.
His reward for saving Sir Hans.
But before I go, I get stopped and searched by a random guard. For some reason.
Such are my orders.
After listening to Bernard rant for a bit, I finally mount up and we ride to Neuhof. And once we arrive, Bernard slaps a traumatized man. After which we find that the horses were on the first stage being turned into glue, meaning dead. We then speak to Zora, Smill's wife, who Bernard decides to just stare at for a bit. She tells us that the bandits didn't kill the horses but maimed them instead. They also didn't steal anything and were just here to murder and kill, which are the same thing. Bernard then tells us to stay out of the way.
Just don't get in anyone's way.
So I head off and begin questioning the witnesses. Jesse's fucked.
Are you well?
Obviously fucking not, Henry. During
some
this
of them
process,
are
we're
running
told
away
some of
and
the
the others
bandits
were
fought
fighting.
amongst themselves. And then I see a ginger. Called Ginger. A ginger! Get him, dog! Get him! Get him! Go kill him! Get him! No, even you don't want to go near a ginger, do you? I then go off into the woods in search of some of the bandits, which I soon find and quickly deal with. Oh. Mace to the face! No, you're not dead. Hang on. Holy fuck, Henry, calm it down. Jesus. Thankfully, one of them was already injured, and I find a bloody hoofpick on his body. I take it back to the farm and find out it's Ginger's,
He was always bragging about it.
who, coincidentally, has also disappeared, as the rest of Redhead had ran for the hills. Next, I report the bandits to Bernard.
Right there to the north in the woods.
I'm then told by one of the survivors that Ginger was friends with some charcoal burners. The only problem is, he doesn't know exactly which ones, and there's quite a lot of them. So I head off in search of them in the woods. The first group I come across wasn't the right ones, but they thankfully tell me the direction that they saw him go. But when I follow said directions, I run into a fight between some soldiers and some bandits, which starts off well and then does the opposite of what I want. Help me, people! Help me! Fuck! As for some reason, the bandits despise people with the name Henry, and mostly just target me. No, don't lock onto that one. Why do you lock onto every one but the one I want? I eventually overcome this anti-Henry cabal of bollockses and arrive at the next group of charcoal burners, where one of them immediately sells out and demands a bribe,
Well, if you need to find him so
which
bad,
obviously I don't pay, so I use Henry's charisma.
And what if I bashed your face in and had you dragged off to the stocks in Rattay?
I then speak to his boss, who tells me he'll give me the exact location of Ginger if I kill the bandits who are looking for him.
I'll tell you more.
I'll find them. Don't you worry. I'll get the bastards. Eventually.
You'll soon be sorry for shooting.
Oh, get fucked. And now with all the bandits incapable of hunting down Ginger, I return to the charcoal burner. And with my job done, he tells me where to go, and it's finally time to find the fictitious fool of a redhead, who's hiding in a shitty run-down cottage.
You've led me a merry dance.
Ginger tells us that he ran because he recognised one of the bandits.
Who was it?
A man from Uzhitz with a
Only
limp,
that he's from Uzhitz and he has a limp.
who he had seen in the tavern, and was actually the one who killed the bandit in the woods.
I'm dying.
Since he was already punished by God and was born a ginger, I cut Ginger some slack and convinced Zora, Smill's widow, to let him
Let the lad
return.
come back again.
Thank you.
And when I report what happened to Bernard, he is less than pleased.
I really don't know, my lord. He disappeared without saying a word to anyone. Never crossed
Henry
my
then
mind
practices
he
the
wanted
alphabet he doesn't
kill.
know,
I
which angers him even more. Next I talk to Sir Radzig, and he tells me to continue the investigation.
Find out what he knows and then report back to me.
He then goes for a walk. Are you gonna walk the whole way back? And I go to sleep. Or at least that was my intention, but Peshek woke me up in the middle of the night. What's happened? What? And then I went back to bed. Calm it down, old man.
Get up! Huh?
Have you just been standing there staring at me all night? With a new day ahead, I repair my gear and take off to Auschwitz. Auschwitz. It fucking doesn't matter. And I fight some bandits along the way. Oh, get fucked. No mercy. But when I arrive at my destination, there is a problem. Where is the home of Limpy Lugosh? There's a rave outside the Limpy man's house, so I speak to the bailiff, who in turn introduces me to our limpy little friend, who's quite possibly dead.
Nothing's ever easy.
I then begin investigating, but there's immediately a problem. I can't read what's on the wall.
Pity I don't know how to read.
Some pebbles, we must learn how to read. So I drop the investigation and find a nearby scribe and pay him to teach me how to read.
Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy.
Which only takes a couple of days, because apparently Henry's a complete fucking genius.
You're one of my most talented pupils.
And now that I can read, I continue the theme of not doing my job and spend another day reading. Black sheep, have you any wool? But in the morning, I remember why I was actually here and go and read the wall.
Judas. Looks like this is meant to be a warning.
Afterwards, I beat a thief.
Well, that's the end of you.
I don't feel good about that one. And then get a reward for my help.
Thanks.
And now it's time to speak to the best character in the game, the man, the myth, the legend, Father Godwin. Lubash had gone to confession and told Godwin about the attack, but Godwin wouldn't tell me what he said because of the confessional seal.
What?
Thankfully, he still wants to help and invites me out for a drink.
Suppose we talk it over in the evening, in the tavern, over a cup of good wine.
But just before I do, I buy some stuff for my horse. Boom, look at Pebbles now. Dripped out. I then take my dripped out horse to the tavern, and Henry tells Godwin about the attacks on Skalitz and Neuhof.
Rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately.
And after some more of pestering the priest about Lubosh, but he ignores the subject and tells me about a random sermon he heard.
Recently, a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison, and nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated.
And eventually everything becomes a blur as we party throughout the night. At least that is until the bailiff arrives.
Enough of this! Bailiff! Come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Which of course ends in a brawl. That then leads to us climbing the church tower and ringing the bell, and after Henry gets ridden, we end up roaming around a field with some enlightened individuals. My people. And then we black out. In the morning, we are both in an absolute hape.
My poor suffering stomach.
Where the fuck am I?
And Godwin's in trouble as he needs to say mass and is not in any state capable of doing so. So he asks Henry for help.
You have to help me.
He comes up with a plan and then offers to break the confession.
If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
So I'm left with only one option. We arrive for the mass, where Godwin does his bit in Latin, and then it's up to me to remember as much of the sermon that Godwin told me the day before. And luckily enough, I managed to succeed at every single charisma check. The townfolk are quite pleased and praise me on their way out. And with the deal complete, Godwin breaks the confessional seal.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony and fornication.
Now, Lubosh came to me shortly after it happened.
He tells us that Lubosh and his mates only wanted to steal some horses, so when the killing started, they ran for the
It all
hills.
turned sour and people started getting killed.
He also tells us the names of our new leads.
From Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pious.
After which, I go to the tavern.
Jesus Christ. Your clothes. Were you assaulted?
I was so upset by those insults that I wandered off into the woods, where I found some humans and beat their dogs.
Fuck these dogs. Where's my dog? Why isn't he helping? Jesus.
I then break their AI and become a one-man firing squad. Fuck you. And once they're finally dead, I find another cumin and a bunch of guards, but apparently they were paid off.
Oh, you want to help me with this cumin? Oh, did I just hit my... I just hit the dog. Sorry, dog. Not my fault you're running in the way. No, what I'm pissed off at is, one, you're fucking useless, and two, they are even more useless. Look at them just wandering away. They just wandered off.
Then it's back to my search.
I hit a tree.
And I arrive in Ledechko and start asking around about Riki, one of the bandits.
For a fellow called Riki.
You mean Hinnick, the courier's son?
I get a lead on him from one of the Bathouse winches and
He
Riki's
boasted
father.
to me a few times about what a great hideout he found in the woods.
So I head off into the woods and find him talking to a dead
Not
deer.
that I can expect any useful advice from you. Don't kill me. I can explain.
And once he calms down, he gains a slight echo and tells me what happened. After which he tells me where to find Timmy, who had been to the bandits' camp.
Timmy, I reckon, went back to the mill where he works.
But our talk ends there as the bandits arrive to kill Riki. But we play a reverse card and kill them instead. Riki then pleads to not be arrested, but I refuse and do it anyways, as imprisoning him teleports me back to Ratai faster than anything else. This allows me to sell all my shit and then go off in search of Timmy. But along the way, I find a body and a woman calls me a murderer. But she is soon in awe of Henry's sheer greatness and admits that she did it herself. She then tries to bribe me, which fails, so she then runs for it. Thankfully I have a mace.
No killing on my watch. Be careful, there's some bodies down there.
With that done, it's time to meet Timmy, or at least his sister,
Jesus
as he's
Christ.
not actually here. She takes me behind the mill and tells me he's hiding at a nearby farm, as a bunch of bandits crowd around me, who then proposition me.
might offer that man a job.
But Henry's not that kind of man, so it's straight to violence.
True. Only you don't have the upper hand.
Okay, maybe I don't have the upper hand. I lied.
But apparently Henry can't take a foursome, so I hide in a bush which breaks their AI.
Some may call this cheating. I say, go fuck yourself.
This eventually leads to their leader running off,
No, come back here.
meaning I'm free to defeat the remaining one.
You don't get a mercy kill. I'm just gonna watch you die.
With him down, it's on to find Timmy.
Hey, Timmy.
Have we met?
We have now.
Oh, shit. What do you want? It wasn't me. I didn't...
Timmy's not the
I mean,
brightest, but he is fairly helpful, as he
Well,
gives us the
once I
directions
was
to the
there with
bandit
them,
camp.
Yeah, it was in the woods. There were some wrecked houses there and all. In the woods. In some
A
kind
church?
of woods. There was a church there. You know,
Straight
with
north,
trees
round
and
some
stuff.
barns.
From the castle, there's a
Right,
path there. When you go up it leads to the wood. Go to the left there. You come across this abandoned house. Looks like a house, only abandoned. And it's right there. Easy as you please.
And once we're done, I obviously don't arrest Timmy, because you can't do that to Timmy, because it's Timmy.
Oh no, bugger.
I then leave the farm and go and speak to Sir Radzik, telling him what I've learned.
The camp is an abandoned village in the woods to the west of Townburg.
He then gives me my new orders, which are to scout the camp and do some sabotage.
And if you could carry out some sabotage while you're in there, it would be invaluable.
But instead I go to bed. And then the next morning I head to Ratai, where I sell some ears and do some trading with Bernard.
Ow. Ow.
And I then finally get to do some alchemy. With my lifelong dreams achieved, it's time to go hunting for bandits in the woods. With them dead, I continue to explore.
I'm gonna head west.
eventually running into some humans. Oh, fuck. Stab. After which it's back to exploring yet again. Which eventually ends up with me in Tallenberg, where I speak to Lady Stephanie, who wants me to get her gifts for her cousin's wedding. She asks me to get a crown, wine and a horse, so I ride off on my own horse to get another horse. But when I get there, I'm told that he might not be ready, but feck it, how hard can it be? Apparently very. Bitch. This is gonna be painful. What I remember, this horse is an absolute bastard. Yep. Just gotta hope that's a penis. So I speak to one of the stable hands who tells me I have to sing to the horse to calm him down.
Sing him his favourite song.
So I serenade him for a bit, and then bring him back to Tallenberg. I then move on to Merhoyed so that I can ride further south and get the crown, only stopping to fight some humans along the way. After which I arrive to get the crown. Or at least I do, after I get up these fucking stairs. I'm told the reason the crown isn't finished is because the merchant who's bringing the Moldavite meant to be laid on the crown itself never actually arrived, meaning it's now my job to go and find him. So I hop on my horse and head off west, where I find his cart. I then wait in the middle of the road for 6 hours until morning, where I soon find his dead body next to some dead bandits. I loot absolutely everything of value and head back to beat those cursed stairs. After which I return the Moldavite. I have to wait a day for the crown to be finished, so I run off to fight some nearby bandits, which goes well. Okay, well he knows what he's doing. That didn't go as planned. Second time I lead one away and take him out almost dying in the process.
Okay, that fucking hurt. Oh, thank fuck. That was a bloody close one. Piece of shit.
Then I chase off another.
Back here, bitch. I'm gonna get you, boy. You ain't getting away.
And now to kill all the others.
That arrow went through him. That arrow went through him. No, you ain't getting out of this.
With them dead, I soon meet the local homeless crack-addicted wizard.
I know you.
What?
Who takes me as his apprentice.
Alright, I'll be your apprentice.
He then tells me to collect some random shit. So first I get a cat's paw through gambling, and then I become a tooth fairy and steal one out of a random guy's mouth. And of course lastly I climb a ton of ladders up the side of a church so I can steal his stick.
What?
It was at this point that I realised that I got very badly distracted from the main quest. And I haven't saved in 2 hours, so fuck you game, I'm going to have to do all of that again, but that's for another day. I'll see you next time. Bye.
What the fuck, where'd you come out?